between Witcher and YurGa. Does YurGa end in 5th place again, or is able to take revenge for being knocked into loser's bracket last week by Witcher? We'll find out here. Witcher deciding between these things. It's probably going to take the Orbital Strike, right? It's Zax v Extilior. And that Nano Shield on the same turn. I like this, though. The Corrosive Particles is the other one I was thinking of. So thinking about what Witcher is thinking of. You have a really strong turn 4 with the Nano Shield to give yourself some invulnerability from the ship assist. And the Orbital Strike. But opting for the Corrosive Particles and the Escape Patch. Escape Patch is going to help you accelerate your board state harder. And the Corrosive Particle is going to give you a lot of burst on a key target. Barrison, so we are currently experimenting. I'm calling this the... Oh, it came to then. Yeah, so we're experimenting with formats. So in this format, there was a lot of people who wanted to do a one captain, one roster for the whole tournament. And we're experimenting with that format this time along with group stages to see how it feels playing the same captain. The previous tournament, the one we did for the release weekend extravaganza, which is the first of my experiment games tournaments, we did it where it's best of 3. And if you win a game, you do not get to play that captain for the rest of the set. So in a best of 3, you won game 1 with Astra, you don't get to play Astra again. If you won it with Extilior, you don't get to play with Extilior again. So it added a very fun and interesting dynamic to the tournament, and a bit of back and forth with like Astra and all that stuff being like, do I keep Astra in the back pocket, try to win against their Astra, all sorts of stuff. And we're trying out the single roster one this time around to see how it feels. Other things we tried out a full double elimination bracket last week. This time we did a group stage into a final bracket. I don't mind saying now, not next week. I'm not running a tournament next week, but on October 22nd, we're going to do a full Swiss style tournament with maybe, I haven't decided yet on this part, a Final 4 single elim bracket that gets seeded out of the Swiss. So a lot to consider there, but that would be a full Swiss best of 3. That's going to be very fun as well. So trying out different formats with these 3 experiment series. Keep your eyes peeled out, or if you're going to show up at that tournament, stay tuned. I got something big I'm planning for. Big in the realm of this sort of situation. I'm planning for November. So keep your eyes peeled out for stuff like that. I'll be announcing next in a couple weeks here. But right now, we have game number 1 between YurGa and Witcher. A repeat of a winners semis match from last week, now being met in losers quarterfinals. Something you definitely didn't expect. And we talked before about how that Corrosive Particles is going to be so huge to make a key pick when necessary. And you get that a lot more often than the Orbital Strike, and right there used to great effect to finish off the Chuck and Co. Now, I didn't see the rest of the match. I was busy kind of explaining something here, but looks like you're going to use that Vortex to yoink everyone in. So Extilior now in the Zax face with that Sword of Justice for the spin to win 3 damage. Yeah, that is a dead Broken Vengeance. Because Broken Vengeance, as we all know, it's like a melee where it's going to, every time Broken Vengeance is hit, it hits you back. For crew. Captains, not so much. And so you're able to just kind of wipe them out there. So we see both players here. 3 people on the board. So when we talk about developing our board, you want to get the pieces out in useful combinations. You want your crew out in good states to where like your board has more units or good synergies across the board. You know, a Crosshair is a pretty solid unit, but if you're trying to develop your board around the Crosshair, you're going to want like a Snareling so the Crosshair gets the crit, because it crits whenever you stand still. So you want that Snareling around to keep someone in place so you get that free crit in the following turn. Right now, we have both players have developed their board here. We have the Snareling for YurGa to keep someone in place that YurGa wants to kill, and the Blindsider Extilior combo coming in hot. Blindsider, of course, 2 damage normally, but goes to 4 damage if you're out of Cinder. Really good in the early stages of the game, and you see it pretty much always in Extilior rush lists. Now on the side of Witcher, Taria, Maximus with a Zax, excellent standard combo. Taria, of course, giving herself and someone else a rapid fire. And you see that crit coming in hot. Going to use the grab just to finish this pick. Oh no! I think he gets physicsed. Okay, it does pull him. Yeah. Excellent play from Witcher, using the Taria's rapid fire and the Maximus ability to reposition after doing damage to pick off that blindsider, which is going to be a huge threat. Both of these players playing at, you can see these players are playing at such a pretty high level right now. And that's what we expect when we're in top 6 of a tournament like this. Snarling, even though that was a great play from Witcher, that Snarling is keeping him immobilized. If Snarling does damage, they get locked in place. And that Shield of Hope keeping Snarling alive. You see, this is why you see that we're talking about developing the board, why that Snarling is so important, because YurGa able to keep the Zax right where he wants it, and Zax only has his Gravitas to move him around right now. This is such a really rough state for Zax. If YurGa crits and gets an extra damage, we get the Sword of Justice for 3 damage, the melee for 2, and Snarling for 1. That is 6 damage. No crit on any of those attacks. Witcher gets 1 more turn. But YurGa has the Vortex to catch up. So we're going to have to see what Witcher does here. Going to go for the Grab Disc and then the Sleeper Mine to keep the Extilior out of the way. Seems to be the route that he's looking for. Oh, can't get the push back, so he's not going to take the shot here, because when you shoot a melee in melee range, if you hit someone in melee range, they're going to hit you right back, so Witcher would take unnecessary damage. We see him use the Grab Disc, maybe. Oh, and I like this. So he's saving the rapid fire for the Zax, so Zax is going to push. Does it have the rapid fire? Oh, so he's going to use the Cinder to drop something. Okay. Oh, those 2 misses are going to be pretty crucial, because Maximus does not get to move Maximus does not get to move unless he does damage. Now, what we've seen here is, I don't know if Witcher would have even moved the Maximus, because it's trying to make the situation where everything's blocked off, the Extilior can't get to him. If this Vortex works out, oh no! YurGa's going to be able to go in. That Vortex worked out perfectly for YurGa, where Zax is now right there in range for the Extilior to come in. Zax is going to get locked down in place on this turn as well from... And then just kind of gets locked in place from the Snarling. I know I do... Okay, wait. I know I do it too, but it seems like most players start with some aggro plays, and then that can cut the match short. Yeah! Yes, it can. And it's still a new game. We're all still learning. And you're seeing some of the top play... Oh, that might have been a misclick! No! They chose to get rid of the Taria. YurGa identifying that Witcher could still have tools in their back pocket to take this game out, because... Oh, we had the damage! Witcher would have had the damage. That's right. Crosshair with the rapid fire. That's 6 damage. Taria with 2 damage. 8. Another 2 damage coming from the Deadeye or whatever the other thing they had, or the Maximus, I'm sorry. That would have been 10, and then Zax for 2 more with the corrosive particles would have actually killed YurGa. I didn't even catch that. YurGa's so smart, knowing that they could have had Witcher down to 1 health, but recognizing Witcher had lethal on them for the next turn. So that just goes to show you how important it is to count the damage of the opponent before making your move. Because of that, we get the Shield of Hope tanking some of that damage. Yeah, I don't think Witcher doesn't have the damage to finish him off this turn without a crit. YurGa, again, identifying that I need to get one of these things out, otherwise I'm dead next turn, even if I could kill Zax on the turn following. He's gonna live. Oh my gosh, imagine if Witcher had their Amplifier. If they had Amplifier, that's game. Gotta hope for a good escape hatch drop. Oh, they have enough for the mine. Oh my god. Witcher has enough Cinder for a mine. He didn't use it. Why didn't he use the mine to block this off? That's game. What a good crankbait pull. I bet you Witcher thought the geometry would have kept the crankbait from hitting. Oh my gosh. That was so close at the end there. I think if Witcher had dropped that mine right there, Extelior may have been able to sword of justice, but would not have been in range of the melee for the finish. Wow, what a close ending. Oh, you know why? Because if they had dropped the mine, the crankbait pulls into the mine, and then Witcher would have exploded on the beginning of his turn, and YurGa had a ranged unit. They had a snareling, and with Zax only had 4 health. Oh my gosh. There's so many angles there that could have been going on. What a game one. This is why I really like this game, and I really enjoy casting it, because when you get to these higher level players, most players, like I said, know how to back off and how to recover successfully and well. Which are going for the Plink Orbital Strike combo, just going raw damage, recognizing that's the thing. He would have won if he had that orbital. No, corrosive particles also did a lot of damage. Never mind. But going for the damage and the Plink throughout the game to hurt, put the hurt onto YurGa here. But this is why I love this game right now to cast, because at the high level, there are so many in the moment decisions that you could point back to say, hey, this is what did me in. You know, yes, there was the corrosive particles, but the vortex coming in strong. YurGa playing like they don't have vortex or looking to bait. This could have been a bait. YurGa could have been baiting Witcher to walk forward and have vortex again. So, Barrison, Astra is used a lot. That is why she is banned. Because in a tournament where everyone's using only one one list for the whole tournament, it's just going to be a bunch of Astra. And we've all played a lot of Astra to kind of know how that goes. Also, we don't get much data on Extelior versus Zax with Astra in it, because Astra's just going to kind of be poking him off, and Astra is changing soon. So, we're just going with this. The Snareling Extelior combo coming in hot once again. Ion Storm is one of YurGa's things, reducing all of the reducing all of the accuracy of Witcher's units by 40% for this turn. Witcher does have Orbital Strike. I'd imagine that they're going to drop it here. Yeah, YurGa has to remember to respect. It's turn 4. There is Orbital Strike that's going to come down. Broken Vengeance taking a pot shot. Here comes the Orbital Strike, 3 damage on everyone. If you learn anything from some of these games, that we have been watching today, it is that always respect Orbital Strike on turn 4. Never assume they don't have it. So despite the fact that YurGa has developed their board here in a way that, it's the same board development almost we saw last turn. The Drum Breaker, the Snareling to keep someone locked in, the Extelior ready to march up the board. Good recovery from Witcher to use that Orbital Strike. Now, YurGa is very scared to walk in. Anyone that walks in will get picked out. And then the Torian giving that 40% accuracy reduction to everyone against whenever you're shooting against Torian or the Zax Jakar. Yeah, and YurGa feels the pressure now. YurGa knows that if they aren't able to pull the trigger here in some meaningful way, they're going to get just chipped away. Stasis Field on the Broken Vengeance. Pretty huge. That's 3 damage that won't be coming through this turn. Snareling is not in range to be meleeed by Torian, who has been made immobilized, cannot move, but a good gravity disc from Witcher will kill the Snareling. Gonna take the pot shot, grab disc him into range of the Torian, so that the Torian can get the kill here. Snareling is super huge and super crucial for YurGa. Yep, and the Plink to finish off the Drum Dancer. So the reason that Witcher wanted that Snarling down. We saw it in the last game. Snarling locking him up, lets the Extilier walk up with the 3 damage AoE, the 2 damage melee. Just kind of keep popping damage after damage. Now, in the playtest, what you are seeing here on this Broken Vengeance would not have happened because Broken Vengeance could hit back against Extilier and there would have just been a constant trade of 3 damage versus 2, and it would suck. But YurGa, knowing that Broken Vengeance, that's 3 damage that's going to be coming in every turn. And this goes into YurGa's playstyle. I've mentioned this last week, and you can see Witcher doing this as well with the Zax. YurGa loves to identify that priority target and pick it off and just kind of piecemeal, surgically take you apart and get rid of these pieces, and you kind of see that here. That said, Witcher in such a good spot right now still. The Taria on the side, that rapid fire. Safeguard. Savria's dead, actually. Gotta count that damage. Savria just dies here. 3 damage from the Torian. Rapid fire for either Zax or the Taria. That's going to do 2 damage twice, so 4. And then a Plink. Doesn't even need the rapid fire to get the kill if Witcher wants to use the Cinder to develop their board instead. I amongst the best through limited cap appearances series nights. You get to see all the caps, but it's also exactly, Barrison. And that's kind of what was that a miss? Did Taria miss? Did I miss it? And yeah, that rock paper scissors is kind of the goal with that. Oh, okay, Taria. They didn't start with the safe. They didn't start with the Torian. Okay. And you can see both these players taking that surgical approach. But yeah, that's the idea with kind of the best of 3 captain switching. Because then it's that rock, paper, scissors format. There's counter picking and there's mind games, not just in roster. There's mind games in the bracket itself. To where, this Chuck and Coach is going to finish Torian. Torian has the accuracy against hits, but not against abilities. Man. What a close game. This is so back and forth. Every time it looks like one of the players gets an advantage in one way or another, the other player picks apart their board. That said, Witcher does have the health advantage on the captain. This rapid fire is going to do 4 more damage. They have an orbital strike on the next turn. The Ion Storm does not prevent the shots from hitting. This is lethal territory for YurGa. Witcher does have that lethal, dropping 2 big chunky units in the way. YurGa's going to have to decide if they YurGa's going to have to back off. That chip damage that they took walking forward to get to Witcher from both the orbital strike and the plink and the range, it's really hurting YurGa here. YurGa has to find a way out. Because with orbital strike on this turn doing 3 more damage, they can't risk taking some ranged shots. But to get back to, okay, crosshair. Yep, YurGa's backing off here. Has stasis field on the next turn. If they can survive this turn, they can do some nonsense. They have Shield of Hope. So that's 6 effective health, 4 health, 1 health left, plink. Yep. Well played from both players. And again, this is why I love watching high-level Moonbreaker, because that was so back and forth. You saw both players at each other, back and forth, picking off each other with their abilities, finding like there's the high priority target, take that one down, get this one down, position. Oh my gosh, what a back and forth game. We are going into game 3. Well, I wouldn't say that game was swingy. That was both players playing to the limits of what the rosters can do into each other's roster. Like, that is what this game could be as we get the ship assists and Astras tuned up a little bit here. As we go into game number 3. Again, this is your tournament champion from last week up against the top 5 from last week. 2 of our perennial high place, I say perennial, from the 2 playtest tournaments and from our tournament last week. One of them is going home after this. So, Barrison, you're seeing a lot of more faster games because we have had some Extilier on the screen, which Extilier goes pretty fast, and these players make decisions pretty quickly. But what you'll find in a lot of high-level play, in my opinion, as well, is the ability to recover and install the game out to try and get your pieces on the board and live as long as possible. So would not be surprised to see that happening more as the game develops. And oh my gosh, Witcher got Orbital Strike again. So we saw this combination for Witcher in game 1, where there was Orbital Strike and Charged Nano Shield, the one that gives you invulnerability for a whole round. Did not do that. Went for the Corrosive Particles. I did not see what the other ship assists were. Going for the big turn 4 play, though. And we have the Blindsider. Let's see if YurGa respects turn 4 Orbital Strike this time. And Broken Vengeance. And you can see both players are playing it back a little bit. I would assume, we can't see YurGa's hand, but I would assume they have a decently expensive hand, as it were. Disruptor Beam. Oh, do they have the Vortex combo? They have Disruptor Vortex. They have to have Disruptor Vortex, right? No, they don't. But they are putting the Torian in place. Just trying to keep him here. He can't hit the Torian without hitting Zax. Oh, but he can make Zax invulnerable. It's so tragic that Zax can get out of there. And the Amplifier Beetle to increase everyone's damage by 1 around him. Oh man. So, moved forward. Gravity. I'm so sorry. Gravity disc him forward. Oh, he used the Gravity disc to get the optimal Orbital Strike so that the damage can be maximized here. Here comes the Amplifier. 7 damage. There could be 10 damage dealt to someone on this turn. But Orbital Strike's going to hit all 3 of them. I would assume Witcher's going to take out Blindsider with the Zax and going to go for the Torian. If this hits, it's huge. Oh my god. Such a good board developed by YurGa, just wiped out in a turn. YurGa going to have to walk in, opting to take out this Beetle, knowing that is the biggest threat on the board. But then he's not going to be able to use Cinder to develop his, get his crew out, because it takes 2 Cinder. Stasis Field coming in onto the Zax. Spinning to winning. Getting rid of Beetle, so that +1 to everyone's damage is out. What else does YurGa have on their crew? That's a big base. It can't be Quetzali. They would have played it already, so they could escape this situation. Is it a Jailbreak? A Switchback? With a base that big? Savria? Savria has a big base, right? It's Rickety Backfire. And with the Stasis Field on Zax, Zax can't come in to hurt him on this turn. Zax can't finish him off with the Broken Vengeance. They do have the invulnerability. So here's the decision for YurGa. It's not for YurGa, for Witcher. Do they They kept it. They didn't reveal the invulnerability. They didn't want to use... They're going to eat the damage here. They're going to save it for a later turn. So Rickety Backfire is going to hit at 70% chance to explode. So it can hit for 3, 30%, 70% chance to explode for 3 to themselves and everyone around them. And then this is a spin to win and a melee coming out of YurGa. So that's 6 damage plus 5. That's 11 damage on this turn to the Zax. Where's the melee? Do the melee. Do the melee. Why would YurGa not... What is YurGa looking at? What does it have in his... What do they have in their... There it is. Going to disrupt the Broken Vengeance out. I'll play those minions before the trade. What is YurGa going to do here? YurGa's opting to box them in. Oh, did they melee? I think they did. 6 plus 5 should have been 11 damage. Did YurGa not melee? Oh! Why did YurGa not melee the Zax? That's so weird. Hopefully Witcher doesn't live by 2 health. That would be so sad. But Broken Vengeance on the backside here, gonna have to find his way back in. Is gonna be able to get in there easily. The Snarling here is huge for YurGa, because that's going to keep Zax in place. We talked about this many times today, how if you are the Extilier, once you are in the face of the Zax, you need to stay in the face of the Zax, because you both have the same movement. He can only go so far, and then it's going to have to burn Cinder for the grab discs. There's still that invulnerability available to Witcher from the ship assist. I'm still baffled that YurGa did not melee. We're not going to stick on that for too long here. Do we get the invuln? Yep. Charged Nano Shield makes your Witcher's character there not take any damage. And that Nectar Vine is going to heal them by 2 every turn. We can see that Snarling going to go for the guaranteed shot to immobilize Zax. Maybe, but YurGa is in such an interesting spot. 6 Cinder to play with. It's nothing to snuff at. They reinforced they did not have any crew. Oh, this is going to be such a huge turn. What does YurGa do? Orbital Strike is 2 turns away. So many factors to keep in mind. You know, it's really interesting. 2/3 of the players in this tournament went Zax, knowing it was going to be only Zax and Extilier. Because the common knowledge would be, of course, you know, Zax has the ability to zone out the Extilier, but we've seen a lot of success with these Extilier rushes today. That Snarling not hitting Broken Vengeance is pretty huge, because Broken Vengeance is going to be able to walk up. Because remember, accuracy is determined by your range. It's 100% accurate in melee, and the farther away you get, the more it gets reduced. So, not being able to keep BV in place is going to be potentially hurt. We do see YurGa's backing off. We talked earlier about how players at this level know when to back off, or how to recover and when to recover. That Nectar Vine and that Nano Shield bought Witcher the time to sit there. It's going to heal up 4 damage, not be able to do too much, and really develop the board. If this crits, no, that should be a dead Snarling regardless between the Zax and the Crosshair. Rickety was going to die, pretty much. Oh, the crit! Oh, man, with that crit for 3 extra damage, Witcher's going to smell blood in the water here. With an Orbital Strike on the next turn, Witcher has lethal here. Is going to most likely play it safe, play it guaranteed. 3 damage from the Orbital Strike, and they just need the Broken Vengeance or Crosshair to hit on top of it. And the Deadeye is going to make that all but a guaranteed shot. YurGa's in a tough spot here. Sleeper Mind to block off that entrance, because you can't move through other models. YurGa's going to have to find a way to block out the line of sight. Probably going to retreat to this back area, but the Broken Vengeance can just hit him. Snarling under the Crosshair keeps them from from following up. Oh, I see what's going on here. Going for the pick onto the Broken Vengeance. Does this get melee range? Is this melee range? It's not. They're going to have to use the Disruptor Beam to get Broken Vengeance right in. This is such a good... See what I mean? It's such a good play from YurGa here. Crosshair cannot hit the shot through the hardcover. Broken Vengeance could have hit him, take him out. Shield of Hope to keep him up a little bit longer. Zax can't move in and get this shot, and would have to crit anyways. So they're going to take the 3 damage from Orbital Strike, but YurGa lives to see another day and has a stasis field for the next turn. So what Witcher's probably thinking is, they're so close, they don't know what other tools YurGa has. If YurGa drops a Quetzali, that could be a huge swing. Could see some pot shots taken from Deadeye. Good, excellent use of the hardcover by YurGa. Orbital Strike, gonna have to choose. Remember, the win con is killing the captain, but if you let those pieces around the captain stay alive for too long... Deadeye. So the drum dancer is going to live for another turn. Oh, they're going for the trying to get a pick here so they can at least get these pieces off. Witcher yoinking the snareling over. Gonna take out the pieces. Not going for the kill on Extilior. YurGa is breathing a sigh of relief right now. Yet also, one of its key tools of catching the Zax has been taken off the board. You know what? If YurGa had a Manteo... So Manteo heals you for however much Cinder you have left. If YurGa has a Manteo in this list, that would be pretty hype. Let me see here. Blindsider. No, YurGa has no healing on the list. They go for the I win early or I don't win. Maybe not the win early, but like I go in and win. Okay. So YurGa still having to pull back, play defensively here. No snaring to immobilize people. Keep the Shields of Hope to give yourself an effectively extra XP. You can see them placing the... they place the Chucking Co there because your accuracy, even though it's 100%, gets reduced when it goes through light cover and when it's shooting through other units. So just trying to reduce that accuracy as much as you can. Keep things in your favor as much as you can. Try and develop that board, get some other pieces out so then they can pull the trigger to maybe end this, or at least swing it back in their favor. Crosshair with, the Deadeye. That is probably a dead drum breaker here with the Zax taking the shot with the Deadeye boost. No. Oh, going for the grab disc to go that extra mile. That is a dead drum breaker. Continuing to march up the board. So no Astra because it's a single roster tournament. You only bring one roster, and if Astra was allowed, Astra, we would just be Astra v Astra all day. In this instance, we've had a lot of fair mix of matches and matchups, and it would not have also been the most indicative of future performance as well because Astra is getting changed on the first patch. If it was the best of 3 where you play a different captain every time, if you win with the captain, you can't play with that captain again. Astra is allowed, but in this case, we're just going Extilior and Zax, and it has been a banger tournament so far. So YurGa running for their life, trying to survive here, stick away from all the damage coming up the field. Chucking Co gonna push this crosshair a little bit out of the way as well. Does have the Cinder to yoink. YurGa could deploy someone. Has a crew. What is it? Crankbait. Now this is the mobility YurGa needs to maybe start making some key picks. Charged Nano Shield available to Witcher. But this crankbait could cause a lot of issues because that's just going to help because they can pull not just enemy units but pull your own friendly units. So just pull the Extilior around. Going for the shot here, 88% chance, probably 3 damage. So it takes out all 3 Shields of Hope. Witcher just moving up across the board. Using that grab disc to keep getting closer. Putting the Torian in. Boom. There's the nano shield on the crosshair. Identifying that unit is the one that's most likely to die here, get yoinked. Continuing to slowly but surely put YurGa into this corner, box them in. YurGa's been playing around this cover so well to limit the amount of opportunities Witcher has to take pot shots. But that clock continues to tick down. YurGa does not have any of their ship assist available. 5 Cinder. Do not believe they have a Quetzali in their deck. So they can't get that big burst of speed where it resets their movements. Oh, it does. He does have a Quetzali, but it must not have drawn it. Sitting there, one of those last two remaining in the crew on the ship. Reinforcements, whatever we call it. Continue to chuck Crosshair out. Looking like they're going to box him in with Chuck and Co. Not, Crosshair can still move. None of the janky box-ins we see when you get to the captain bases. There's that crankbait like we talked about. Moving the exterior as far away as possible. Because remember, the accuracy is affected by the range and by shooting the light cover and units between. So YurGa is trying to get as optimal coverage as possible here. Trying their best to prevent any crazy shots. All Witcher needs to win this game is Maximus to hit their shots and Deadeye to hit their shots. This could be it. This is YurGa's tournament life on the line here with these shots here. Witcher trying to get as many people taking these pot shots as possible. Has Orbital Strike on deck for the next turn. Does not get the line of sight. All right, pot shot 1, pot shot 2, misses. But again, it's hard. One orbital strike. YurGa's in a tight spot. That 3 damage is going to come from the orbital strike. No crit. YurGa has 1 turn. Is there any miracles that can happen? Because this is seeming like a pretty done deal. The orbital strike coming down, guaranteed 3 damage. YurGa's Exterior here, staring out at the enemy. Crankbait can yoink him around. They have that creativity they can do with the crankbait here. But again, there's no healing. There's only so much damage. YurGa's taking out as much as they can. And that Disruptor Beam gets the shot, gets the damage. And so what YurGa is doing, going to place a unit in the way. And Orbital Strike's going to finish it. What a good series. Man. But Witcher takes it 2-1 over YurGa again. A repeat of last week. A very close series. Once again, bravos to YurGa. Excellent bracket performance from them. And Witcher advances to losers semis.